What up, guys? Coach KS coming at you today with day 5 of my World's Greatest Stretch series. And today I'm actually going to go do a little bit of teaching as I do my stretch. I've seen some of you guys in my Facebook community duplicating the stretch, doing the stretch, and I was wanting to say congratulations to you guys that are jumping in and taking on this series with, stretching is a very important part of your health and fitness journey. Flexibility is an important part of fitness, and so it's something that we should all be mindful of. So with that in mind, I just want to teach you guys a little bit about what muscles are being stretched during the stretches, what each movement does, and how you can maximize your time in that position. So I'm going to walk through each phase of the stretch here. So when we start off, we take a long step out. Basically what we're getting into is a long lunge here. And what we're stretching is the front hip flexor. So this muscle here is being stretched, as well as your front hamstring. But mostly we're targeting this front hip flexor here with this lunge. And so what I'm doing here, I'm getting long, but then when I come up, what I'm doing is I'm actually leaning back across my body here. So I'm stretching all this here. I'm stretching the front quadricep, hip flexor, so that's what's happening here when I lean back. I'm not just leaning straight back. I'm leaning back at an angle so that I'm stretching across this region here. Kind of a cross body stretch. What I'm doing is I'm pressing my glutes forward into the stretch. So squeeze your glutes. That's gonna press you. That's gonna seat you down further into the stretch. Lock in your hips here. So when you lean back, you're actually stretching out. Like I said, you're stretching out this whole region here across your body. All right. Now, when we come down into this position here, what's being stretched is this hamstring. This hamstring in the front leg is getting a stretch here, and I'm also sinking my hips down into the stretch to maximize the stretch on the hamstring here, as well as still stretching out this hip flexor here. So when I get in here, I'm still stretching. I'm stretching out, sinking my hips into the stretch. Now I'm coming up, and now I'm about to work on my thoracic rotation. So your thoracic spine, you got 3 regions to your spine. You've got your cervical spine, which is the top part of your spinal column. The middle part of your spine is your thoracic spine. And then you got your lumbar spine, which is the lower part attaching to your hips, right? So what we're doing is we're opening up the thoracic spine with this rotation here. So here, opening up. What's also being stretched is the glute medius back here, right? So stretching up. Now, when I sit down, I'm maximizing the stretch on this front hamstring again. Now, when I sink this rear leg back and come back, now I'm stretching. I'm really getting a good stretch in this front hamstring on this leading leg. All right, so I'm sitting back on this rear leg, really taking a good stretch throughout the whole hamstring here on this front leg. That's gonna feel good for us, especially if you're sitting all day, your hamstrings are tight like mine. This here's a great stretch for that. All right, then come back up, boom, and just repeat that same thing on the other side. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, less talking, more stretching. Long lunge out. Here. Now what I like to do, what I've been doing is 3 breaths on each of these movements here. All right, so I'll take 3 breaths and move on to the next movement. Here we go. right, guys, you can continue on with the stretch if you like. Call it a day. But hopefully it gives you some idea of what we're actually trying to accomplish with this series of stretch. Like I said, this stretch is called the War Spreader Stretch, and it really is designed to stretch most of your major regions of your body, right? So you're getting, if you're sitting all day, you probably notice, when you get to that long lunge position, your hip flexors are being stretched. If you're sitting all day, when you're sitting, your hip flexors are locked up all day, right? So this is designed to open up those hip flexors so that you can reverse some of the effects of sitting. If you're, if you work from home, working in an office at a desk all day, if you're sitting in your car, if you want to sit on the couch all night, these muscles get super tight. So this just helps to open those muscles up, as well as stretching out the hamstring. You're opening up your thoracic spine. This great stretch all around, right? And this is the basic version. This is my modified version of this stretch. I have a more advanced version of the stretch that I'll link at the end of this video. So if you want to do a slightly more advanced version of the stretch, feel free to follow along with the video I'll link at the end of this video. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Coach KS out. Deuces.